Gentlemen, time. Sorry. How many times have you heard that? Normally with somebody with their hand on the pump the other side of the bar. It is time to allow John to get back up into his presentation and lecturer's position.
Good evening everyone, and welcome to the part 2 of Introduction into Electronic Logging. So as you know, we covered QRZ.com on the 18th of March. I've just talked to Kerry, and we're going to schedule the part 3 on the 29th of April. So let's move on. So welcome. So what we're going to cover today is how do you install LOG4OM, some initial basic setup. Then we need to create a database. We're going to look at assigning COM ports to LOG4OM. We're going to look at OmniRig, which is you need to have that installed as part of LOG4OM. And then we're going to look at connecting the CAT so you've got full control of your radio syncing in with LOG4OM. So as you swip in the VFO on the radio, LOG4OM VFO will show what the frequency you're setting to. So then we're going to look at, I talked a little bit about station lookup, which is quite easy to do in LOG4OM. So as you bring a station up in LOG4OM, it will show you a picture of the person, and it will also show them their position on the map. So then we're going to look at how we integrate. If you log a Qso in LOG4OM, how can you get that to automatically go to QRZ.com? Then we'll look at importing an ADF file, exporting an ADF file, and we're going to look at some resources of where all the information you can find, and additional information, etc. And then what's not covered, I'll leave some of the items there for you to find out yourselves how you're going to do that. Right, so installing Log4M, you need to download your COM drivers from your radio, and we'll cover that a little bit further down on the slides. You can download Log4M from this URL here. It's a compressed file. You run the installer, accept the license agreement. Now, OmniRig, you can install it directly with Log4OM, but what I would suggest is that you don't install it at that point, but go to this address here and download it. Now, the reason for that is that the one that if you tick and install it, it hasn't got some of the latest radios in the file. So I'd recommend you go to this URL here and download the latest version. But tick a little text box to create a shortcut. Right. So when you've clicked on the shortcut, the first thing that will come up is you've got to fill out this section in Log4OM. So all the information that's circled, you have to fill in. So your call sign, you're in England, your call sign here, your grid square, and this information here is optional. So I just put John, Payton, and Devon, as far as that's concerned. Once you fill that out, then make sure that you click Save and Apply, and that will save those settings into Log4OM. So once you've closed that, the next screen that will pop up is to create a database. Now the database is where you're going to store all your Qsos. So once you've created that database, then you've got your Qsos in another logging program or in QRZ.com, then you can download the ADF file, upload it to Log4OM, and it will go into that database. So all you've got to do is when that screen pops up, is click on New, and then just give it a file name. So as you can see there, oops, as you can see there, you know, it's going to my documents folder, and as an example, TARS demo. That will be your SQL database name. So once you've done that, just click save, and then followed by save and apply in LOG4OM. So that will create your database. Now what you can do, instead of saving it onto your PC, you can actually create it in the cloud. So if you've got, say, you know, your home PC, and you've got a laptop that you maybe want to take out portable, then if you point your laptop to the same database, so as soon as you enter a Qso on your laptop, it will automatically populate the database. So when you get home, open up your desktop, those Qsos will be there. So that's another option that possibly might be worthwhile doing. Right, so the next thing is you've got to download the COM ports for your radio. Now the important thing is, you know, you've got to go to your documentation for your radio, look for the COM ports for the radio that you're going to be using. And once you've downloaded them, you'll get probably 2 different COM ports assigned here. So I've got 2 COM ports that I could use with connecting it to LOG4OM. Now the important thing is to look at here. So as you can see, I need to assign LOG4OM to communicate with COM port 9, because it tells me that it will do frequency and mode settings. And what that means is, as I said earlier, you spin your VFO, LOG4OM will show you that. If you change band, LOG4OM will follow that process as well. So that's the important part. And the other important thing is, do not connect your cable to your radio and to your PC until you've downloaded your drivers. So download your drivers first, then make the connection. Right, so we talked about OmniRig. Now what OmniRig does is it manages your ports. So as you can see here, I've a COM port 9, as we talked earlier on, is what I've got to assign to my OmniRig setting as COM port 9. I've also got to choose my radio here, which my radio is the Qso FTDX 101 Delta. So you've got to assign the radio, assign the correct COM port, there to there, and then your baud rate. So you can play around with a little bit with the baud rate. Start up at 38400. If it works, try another baud rate. If that works, then you're fine. So once you've done that, click OK on the button here, and that will save those settings. So this is what we've covered so far. So we've covered installation, initial basic setup, creating a database, ADF file import, assigning correct COM ports, and OmniRig installation. Is there any questions so far? All right.
Not everybody's COM port will be COM 9, will it?
Sorry?
Just to make that clear, not everybody's COM port.
Yeah, not everybody's COM's not. Yeah, good point. So you know your port might be 10, 12, 13. So just check what your PC assigns the COM port to. Right, so once we've got OmniRig set up, we can now go into this final setting here, which is CAT interface. So once you bring that page up, you set the CAT engine to OmniRig, tick this box here, and then click again, save and apply. So that means the radio now is linked to OmniRig, which is linked to COM port 9 on my machine for VFO and and settings. Right, so the next thing is we talked about how do I get somebody's picture in QRZ.com and where they are in relationship on a map in LOG4OM, which is one of the nice features that, you know, when you see a station and you're trying to make a Qso with him, if you put his call sign into Log4OM, it will automatically bring up his picture, what he's got in QRZ.com, but also give his approximate position on a map, which I think is quite nice. So you can zoom in and out on the map to, you know, to really pinpoint the details of his QTH. So all you need to do, very, very simple, whoops, you enter your call sign in here. This is your QRZ.com call sign. Your QRZ.com password, what you use to log into QRZ.com. Click this little button here, and if it's communicating with that, you'll get a little green tick mark. And here you just select QRZ.com here as your primary source here. So once you've done that, again, always click Save and Apply at each stage to make sure that the settings you've made will be applied to the application. Right, so this is what you'd get. Like you can see here, M0TCF. We'll bring up Lynn's name here, his grid square. I worked him on 20 meters, upper side band. And if you move over, Mike. And there's Lynn relaxing on his patio, I guess. But it'll also give me his position here. Now what I can do is zoom in onto that map easily to find, you know, a little bit more details around that if I wanted to. Okay. Right, so we talked about Qso Integration. So if I log a call sign in Log4OM, instead of me having to download the ADF file and then upload it to QRZ.com, if you've got the paid version, which we talked about at the last presentation, and we talked about this API key here. So if you put your API key in here, and then tick the box here, and again save and apply, as soon as you make that Qso in Log4OM, and you know, hit the button to say, you know, the Qso's ended, it will automatically populate QRZ.com for you. So you don't have to mess around with downloading any files, etc. But as I said earlier, it's only available if you pay for subscription to QRZ.com, which I think is worthwhile just for that part, that you don't have to mess around. I think it's about £24 per year, the basic membership. Right, so what we can do, we can, if you wanted to import files, so on the main program, you click File, Import ADF File, this window will open. So then you select the ADI file here, click, that's the ADF file, move over Mike, to the way. Click the load button, and then that will start importing the files here. So these are the Qsos that go into my log. Now it says it's failed because I've already uploaded them, so it's doing a check to see whether there's any duplicates. In this case, I've already uploaded the files to Log4OM and uploaded them again. And what it's saying is that it's failed because they're duplicates, and I've marked it here. So that's one way, that's a way to import ADF files from any other logging program that you might have. So just generate the ADF file and then upload it by selecting load. Once you press load, So you look for where your file is. Mine was in Minos logs, that etc. Yeah. So some important things to bear in mind is that, you know, don't use these suffixes, because if you lose LH, it will signify, you know, it signifies that it's lighthouse, but it'll be interrupted as a Norwegian station. It's also PM will be pedestrian mobile, will be interrupted as an Indonesian station. But you can use marine mobile, aeronautical mobile, portable, QRP, etc. mobile, and they will be saved as those stations that you've logged. So we talked about in LOG4OM that you can't export files unless you have a paid version. But what you can do to get you going and participate in the TARS competitions, if you lose LOG4OM, you can export an ADI file. And the way to do that is, all you've got to do is to go to Utilities and then select QSO Manager. Alright, you go over Mike. Once you've done that, you'll get this box pop up. And all you've got to do is select the date range. So what I'm doing is, I'm looking for a date range between the 1st of the 1st of this year to the 31st of this, the 3rd of this year. And that's for my TARS robots ADF file, so I can upload it, a TARS robot, for my TARS awards. So once you've done that, can you just minimize, make it smaller? So that'll be your second stage. Once you've done that, you'll be presented with this. So all you've got to do is highlight those, once you've highlighted those QSOs here, so just go from the top down to the bottom, highlight them, and then hit the export ADF file. Go, bring that smaller out. So the next pop-up window you'll get is this. So all you need to do then is just select export file and then click ADIF. Next slide, Mike.
You got the button.
Oh, right. Right, so the third stage will be, is asking you, where do you want to put that file? So this is a file name that it'll give automatically for you. Now you can change that, but then you just select it to where you want to put it. So I want, in this case, I want to put that file on my desktop. And the file name will be TARS Q1 2022. So once you've done that, click this, this will be the next screen that will come up. Click the export button here, click this, and then it will export those files. So what it's done is exported 177, and it's telling me that the confirmation has been done. So this is what your Qso will look like. So in the date range, this is the start, 1st of the 1st of this year. And this was my last Qso in the range here. And this was the last Qso in that date range that I selected, which was the 25th of the 3rd of this year. And I just give some details there. Right, so for resources, there's plenty available. You've got a quick start guide, you've got a full guide, there's a forum that you can use if you've got any questions, and also there's a YouTube channel. Terry Gines is one of the contributors to LOG4OM, and he posts quite a few useful videos on YouTube. so you're welcome to have a look at these as well. So what I'm not covering, which is possible, is clusters. There's a contest mode which I would recommend using. There's a telnet cluster, some statistics, awards, some solar data and propagation. There's an awards manager. You can print labels to put on QSL cards. There's net control. There's a chat system and rotator control. Right, that's it. Any questions? Did you want to have a look at a sort of a live? At the top there, Mike. Left hand side, left one.
Yeah, I mean
So that's my Log4OM. If you go into settings, Mike, at the top, go into program configuration, and then scroll down to station information. A bit towards the top. So this is what we talked about, the station information. As you can see, my call sign, England, my ITU, my CQ call, and my name, call sign there, and my grid square. If you now go into, say, external services, so this is my, don't copy that down because that's my API key.
I can't blank it.
Want to blank that?
I can't blank it. Blank it on the video.
Go into info providers. So this is how you would connect, the lookup of the station you call in QRZ.com. So what it needs is just 2E0 SBS, your course, your password in QRZ.com here. If you tick that box there, Mike, you see little green arrows popped up.
Yeah.
So that means that it's it's communicating with QRZ.com. What else can I show you? Go to cat interface. So as you can see, I've got OmniRig set up as my connection into Log4OM, and I've got cat at start. So what that means is as soon as you connect to Log4OM, you've got your radio switched on, it will automatically go to that frequency that your radio is on. What else could we have a look at? Let's go, I think that'll probably be it. Just close. Sorry?
Qso in.
Yeah. Just go up to exit, Mike. Now, I have got a problem with it coming up with a picture here. I don't know why. Not on my laptop. Put in, I don't know. Just go to recent QSOs there a minute. So we'll go to K8CW. So, no. Come out of there. So in the call sign, put in K8CW. And then go to main. So this is where he is. So you can just scroll into it. So you can see how detailed that could be there to where his QTH is. And this is the path that it's taken. Can you see the little loop there? So that's the path from my QTH to his QTH. But that's the detail of where his actual station is, just there. And what does it tell you? It tells you 5,940 kilometres away. That's his position. If you click on work before, so it tells you that I worked him on there. But if you've worked in multiple times, then it will show you all the dates that you've actually worked that station.
Where it says work before, is that live? So if you're chatting to him at the moment,
No,
you know,
once
you
you've
could
got
actually
the work
record.
before means. So I've brought him up now, so I haven't made a contact with him.
Mhm.
Okay, K8CW. I could click on that work before, and it'll tell me that I worked him on the 29th of the 3rd. But it, you know, I could have worked him on the 1st of the 1st, 2022, or 21, or
It doesn't,
20.
it doesn't flash up to say that you worked before when you put that call sign in, does it?
no, it doesn't flash up.
No.
All it will show you, if you just close that again,
Do
Mike,
if you have the F10 button
Yeah.
down the bottom of
it will show you there that
Right.
you've worked before. So if you haven't worked the station before,
Yeah, but you've absolutely next year. If you if you take that K8CW out again, take them out, right, there's a new contact, right?
Right.
Now put K8CW in now, it won't show that you worked before, will it?
If you
Yeah,
select work
yeah.
before at the bottom, underneath that, just above the map, see that where it says F10 there, click that, right? And then when you put it in, it comes up on there.
Okay. What I'm trying to say, because it's
Now
automatic
if you,
logging.
if you leave that on and take the call sign out and then put the call sign in, yeah, it'll come up.
You log it, yeah.
I think it comes up at the top there as well. Like, should do, yeah. It does come up there as well, that you've worked before. So, who's got a call sign that I haven't worked? I haven't worked. Have I worked you?
Oh, he's worked me on VHF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
M7 NDR, put that in, let's have a look.
M7NDR, was it?
So it comes up with Martin, you go to the map, that's where he is, in Brixham. But I'm not sure why it's not showing up on my laptop, it's showing on my desktop. I've only just installed that today, so I'm not sure why it's not showing up. But what it does tell me, he is a QRZ.com user. If you click on that now, that brings up Martin's QRZ page, and it should have showed his log face there in LOG4OM. The other things you can do is to do, I don't know whether it will work. If you click on that there, cluster,
Doesn't seem to be doing much.
cluster server. You go to cluster there, I think. It might not populate it. But what we'll do when you click up cluster, what it will show you, if you set the statistics and bands, so if you set that, say, 20 meters, what you'd get here is what stations are on 20 meters, and it gives you the probability of the probability, if you can make that contact, it will say 90%, 80%, 50%, 20% chance of you actually making that contact on that band. So it's quite a useful little feature.
Have you done your scoring of with the existing countries and states and what have you? Pulled that up at all? On the, of course, the utilities, is it? Or
What, in LOG4OM?
yeah.
No, I don't bother.
You haven't bothered.
No, I don't bother using it. All I do is I bring it up on I'm just interested in QRZ.com, the awards there, and Logbook of the World.
Oh, yeah.
That's the two that I participate in, really.
If you're starting up a new, like a fresh load of this,
Well, Log4OM.
yeah, log4OM, can you pull your existing logbook from QRZ into this?
You can, if you're paid member of
If you're
QRZ.com.
paid member of
Because
QRZ,
the unpaid
on this
The unpaid
website.
version will allow you to import ADF files, but it won't allow you to export ADF files. So if you paid your 24 quid for a year, then yes, you can. So all you do is in qrz.com, you'd highlight all your Qsos and then export that. It takes 30 seconds and your PDF file will be ready. Then save it to your desktop. Open LOG4OM. Click on, Mike, if you want to click on utilities. Qso Manager. And then as I showed you, all you need to do is just, oh sorry, that's import. Sorry, close that. Go to File, Import ADR file. You'd click the Load button and it will ask you where your ADF file is. Select it, open it, and away you go. You just download it. But make sure, the important thing is that you have to create your SQL database in LOG4OM.
So I've got all my Qsos in an old program,
Right.
where I can export an ADI file.
Yeah.
So I can just,
Yeah.
and that's important.
Yeah.
Like your
Just
existing-
import it directly into LOG4OM. Just make sure you create that SQL database.
Yeah, it's got to have a database.
It's got to go somewhere.
SQL.
So I've got, you can have multiple databases,
Yeah.
and you just select them in. So if you go to settings, go to program configuration, go to where is it? Database. If you click open, so that's one database I've got. See the two databases I've got here, and I can select any one of those. So that's the one I'm on at the moment. If you click that one, Mike, and then open, connection successful. So it's telling me that I've connected to that other database. But there's a lot of things that you can do in here. The clusters are beneficial. But I'm not going to tell you everything. Leave some of the things for you to.
It's got a very good cluster.
Sorry.
It's got a very good cluster.
Yeah, you could select different clusters.
You've got it there all the time.
Yeah. If you close on
Where
that,
does it get the information on the cluster from?
so if you go into
Where are they? From the internet?
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
the internet.
so you select the clusters within this application,
Yeah.
and it'll bring up a list of different cluster names, and then you just select you can select about, I think it's about 4 or 5 clusters.
Yeah.
Eddie, is it about 4 or 5 clusters?
About 5 on.
You can connect up to 5 clusters.
Mine's a June 7
Yeah.
cluster, I think.
Yeah.
So that information.
You can also get propagation.
And that information.
Propagation details. It won't show up on here, but it's there you go. There's some propagation available there on 40 meter band. So if you click in there, Mike, choose say 20 meters. It might not bring it up. Oh, there you go. So that tells you if you click on circuit reliability, so that shows you what it's like at the moment. Which is pretty crap, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good at all.
What else can you do? Click on raw data. It gives you, can't see that very well. And then propagation.
Why they make it so dull as that?
Pardon?
I wonder why they make it so dull as that.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Click on propagation. Click on generate.
It's just taking a bit of time. That's right.
I mean, this is, you know, there's plenty of other logging programs available.
Yeah.
But this is what I use and what I like.
There you go. Yeah,
Very
cool.
line.
You know, it gives you a lot of information directly within that one single application. We're not, you know, not trying to convince you to use LOG4OM. You might be quite happy using other logging programs, but this is what I use, and you know, I've been using it for 2 or 3 years now.
From QRZ, I've got my logbook is divided into my M7 logbook and my 2E0 logbook. When you download, you can only view one of those.
Right.
Anyway, so could I download, if I'm paid for it,
Yeah.
and download the two of it. I could go into the M7 one as well. Download,
Yeah.
put them both into that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no reason why you shouldn't. So I don't know if there's anything. So the other thing it gives you here is some other, you know, information here that, you know, it tells you, you know, what state, what bands you've worked.
Yeah.
You know, in digital. So I worked
There's no
80 meters,
CWs
40.
there.
Sorry?
There's no CWs there.
No CWs because I don't work CW.
There's only phone and data.
But phone, I've worked all those bands. In digital, I've worked all these different bands. So it gives you some idea. So I haven't worked anybody on 80, on 160 meters, because I don't use 160 meters, I haven't got an antenna for that.
Click info.
Sorry?
Not many people have.
Just at the top of that, see it's got
Very big
stats and
antenna.
it's got info. I think if you click info, yeah, it comes up with the QRZ details of the person's call sign.
Click what?
What you've just done there, what you've just done, see that it comes up with the QRZ information and the call sign. Some people, like if they have postal QSL cards, like
Right.
direct,
Yeah.
it'll have their QSL address direct.
So the other thing is you can do, you know, you can print, you know, you could select number of QSOs and then go into the printing mode. If you've got a little label printer, then it will automatically pick up their addresses and print a little label for you that you can stick on the on your QSL cards and send it out. Is there anything else you'd like to say, or any other questions?
It's a case of just using
Yes, David?
It might sound a silly question, but I assume you have to have full Wi-Fi facility for your laptop as you're in the station.
No, because
Yeah.
Because I can't get Wi-Fi in my shack.
no, I don't think you have to have Wi-Fi.
You need internet.
You can hardly.
You do need internet.
Not to do what we do.
Yeah, I mean you can log to Qso, but you won't get the station information. So you could put a call sign in here, and you can work that station and hit, you know, the button here that you've made that Qso, and it will log it in here, but it won't give you any station information.
Yeah.
So once you know, it'll go into the database.
It just should be purely a logging system.
It'll give,
It becomes
Just
just
nice to have the extra bits.
local logging.
yeah, I'm not, yeah.
Would you all use the
Turn off
XCC?
Wi-Fi. Then. Let's have a look.
You can get Wi-Fi into your shack if you want to, using an extender from the through the mains.
Yeah, I'll explain later.
Just go to main here.
Through the mains.
Go to main.
Mains still work. Yeah.
I'll explain in a minute.
So is Wi-Fi turned off now?
Yeah.
Okay, so put in yeah.
We just try mine a minute. Apparently I'm my own 92.
You're not non-existent.
Exactly.
Put in Eddie's call sign 20 BVM. EVM.
Sorry. And wait for it to EVM.
They're ready. We've gone all.
Right, so
Work say band.
it hasn't given me the operator name. It tells me that I've worked him before, so click on worked. So this is when I worked Eddie.
So that's already in your local database.
Right.
So you just
So, close that down, Mike. So if you go into my recent QSOs now,
where is it? Say it again. Recent.
recent QSOs.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So nothing there. Click on that button there.
Ooh.
It's populated him, but it hasn't given the frequency. And if you scroll, so it will populate, David.
The things you won't get are the additional things like cluster and the maps and the application.
That would be of interest to me.
That's the stuff.
Yeah, I think if LOG4OM was connected to a PC, with the cat control, then I think it will probably put in the frequency, etc. Just scroll along this line here.
Get it from the rig.
You'll get it from the rig. So you get all these details here, the grid square. You won't get the grid square, but you'd get the frequency, etc. They've worked in
They
one.
have to put their operator name and their grid square in for that
Yeah.
information name.
So it is possible. So if you're using, say, a laptop and you're out mobile, and you haven't got an internet connection, yeah, you can log your calls.
You've got a G4 broadband system.
So, yeah. Anything else? Any more? Did you find it useful? Yes?
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thanks, John.
I think you've sold it.
Right, so just before I finish. So we've done QRZ.com, we've done LOG4OM, so there's no excuses to any members in TARS to be able to upload their logs to the TARS robot after I've given the presentation on the TARS robot in a few weeks' time. It's boring at the moment, gents, because there's only, well, you saw from the presentation who's winning all the cups. M7 hasn't won the trophy for years. And all he'd have needed to have done is submit one log with 2 QSOs and he'd have picked up a nice trophy. I'd like to see a lot more of you to be able to participate in that contest. It's enjoyable. It's something that you'll be looking to see where you are.
You don't have to
So if
have
you
the-
look, if you connect back to
You don't have to have
no,
confirmed.
I was going to show you the TARS robot, but I don't think I will. I'll have to leave that.
You don't have to have confirmed QSOs.
Sorry, no,
No, it's just
No.
a log.
It's just your log.
yeah, sideband QSOs, FT8, FT4,
So I
Richie,
request you confirmations from loads of them.
any band, any mode,
You don't
upload
get
it.
Not DMR log.
So,
An ADF.
not DMR, no. But it'd really be beneficial to the club to see a lot more members participating in it. Maybe once every 3 months we could look at, see where people are. That could be an evening of, well, yeah, you've done well, so and so. We could look at the TARS robot on here and compare our results.
Football. Football.
Right, okay, gentlemen, thank you very much
Thank you
for.
very much.